Okay, I am delighted that I get to be here today with Kirsten Justice, who is one of my Legacy Mastermind students. And I just can't wait to put the spotlight on you, Kirsten, and let you tell us all about what you do and your success and the wisdom that you can share with us today.
My name is Kirsten Justice, and I'm privileged to live in a really beautiful part of the country. I live on the elbow of the continent, the Outer Banks of North Carolina. I'm a talk therapist, and I specialize in working with couples who are in distress and in trouble and considering terminating their relationship. That's sort of my zone of genius. I hold space and help couples work through difficult times in their relationship. And since COVID, one thing I've been noticing is that crisis revs up distress levels, and so COVID was kind of an accelerator for couples, and people went one of two directions. They either got really close and intimate and appreciative and grateful for their relationships, or they became quite discontented. And I've been interested in writing a course to parallel and up level the work that I do one-on-one with my clients. I've had that as a seed idea in the back of my head for a long time and didn't want to recreate the wheel, wanted to be supported in that transition. I have three different ways of working with clients. One is a clarity program that's one-on-one. One is a inquiry group, that's a group. And the third, my high-end offering, is a program for couples in distress, and that's called We Repair. And so since I've joined Legacy, I've done two things. One is I've sold a lot more of my high-end program, and I've also substantially increased my pricing on my high-end program. I started my high-end program at $1,800, and now I'm at $5,000, and that's for a program it's 4 days, but that includes a day when people are entering, and then it's 3 days of intensive group work with the couple in a private setting here on the Outer Banks. Yeah, so that feels pretty wonderful, and I just completed one this past weekend. So today's Monday, feeling especially grateful and aware of the power and the intensity and the healing sort of that happened in that space. What your encouragement and support has really helped me to do is understand that they're not paying me. They're making a contribution. They're investing in themselves and in their relationship, and they're bringing a very powerful person into their orbit who is able to hold space for them and be confident in the potential for them to heal and even up level their relationship, as opposed to stay in that stuck modality that they were in, where they were really doing a lot of repetitive fighting and had a lot of bad habits. I would say that there's, of course, a psychoeducation piece where you're trying to bring people in. I think one of the things that I've really learned recently is that supporting people in practicing slowing down and really doing their sacred listening in the presence of their partner, that is not something that most people are doing very often. And it's incredibly simple. I mean, it sounds absurd, doesn't it? You pay me to come here and slow down and listen to each other. But that's at its core. That's what I am creating for them. I'm modeling, ritualizing sacred listening. And guess what? If you're going 50 miles an hour and you're multitasking and you've got a little kid at your heels and you've got the boss calling you on the phone, there's very little listening going on there at all. And people go years in those patterns, literally years. It's taken me a long time to believe in the magic of what I do and the power of what I do with these couples. But since I've joined Legacy, I'm there. Like, I get it. And I think that sometimes you need your own container of other people that you're working with to kind of see yourself ascending. and see yourself making the dots connect. One big moment of realization for me in the group was, I think I was doing a call with you around, where are you, like a check-in call. And I told you I had this upcoming event booked. And you asked me very directly, what are you selling it for? And so, like all good therapists, I sort of look at the floor and I kick the wall and hold my head and, mumble my amount. And you looked me right in the eyes and you held me and you said in a loving but very direct way, you need to charge $5,000 for that service. Go do that. And I remember sort of literally armpit sweat breaking out under my arms, sort of feeling like, I remember when I was earning $35 an hour for my clinical time before taxes. I remember that. It wasn't that long ago. And so the idea that I could command that kind of a price point would not have been, I think, very accessible to me in isolation. I really needed the support of the group and your very direct but very loving feedback. And what I can tell you now, having just come off the heels, the couple that I just served left my presence with huge smiles on their face after a walk on the beach, planning to welcome another child into their family. And there's no amount of money that they wouldn't have paid for that. And it wasn't even about me at a core level. It was bigger than me. It was my service, my energy, my encouragement of them to slow down and drill down on what was essential and let go of some of the clutter in the living room and some of the bad habits. And that feels pretty fantastic. And the price point is just the investment. It's just a part of it. And it enables me to have time to talk to you today, because I'm not rushing back to my office for $75 an hour and depleting myself to the point where I don't have the energy and the sacred will to call that in. That doesn't happen if you're exhausted and you're running yourself ragged. And I know, because I've been there, I've done that. And this is different. And you've modeled that as well. I think the most fulfilling thing about this work for me is that my purpose, I'm in my integrity. My purpose is in line with my function. I've had a lot of unpleasant life events. I've been divorced. My mother was murdered. My father died of cancer. I've been a single mother. I mean, the list goes on and on. It's like check, 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 check. Full circle to where I am in my profession now. Almost, up to this point, knock on wood, I'm able to hold sacred space for people in a way that someone who is much younger or someone who had not risen into a lot of resilience, sort of integrated resilience, would really struggle to do. And it's so beautiful to wake up and have a job that makes a difference and be able to be trusted by people at such a deep level. It's such a privilege. I just feel so incredibly grateful and lucky. Some of the feedback that I get is how happy they are to remember that they have each other's backs and that they're a survival unit. They usually come in feeling very adversarial. And a lot of times they even come in wanting me to tell the other person that they're the problem. And we clear that right away. Like, that lasts for about 2 minutes. I'm like, that's what we're not here to do. We are not here to blame. We're here to grow. We're here to listen. We're here to create a sacred container where we're allowed to feel what we're feeling. And then the other piece that I'm implementing that feels really good is I'm only working with people who I feel called to serve. And by doing that, I am creating energy and heart space for myself to be in that creation mode. That's what this recent iteration of the We Repair has taught me, is that what feels energizing about my work, what makes me jump out of bed in the morning to go to work, is when I'm creating. What makes you dread going to work is when you're overbooked, you're underpaid, and you're in the hustle wheel of I gotta put in a 10-hour day to get the revenue that I need to pay my expenses. What I would say to someone who's considering joining Legacy is, are you ready to get out of your comfort zone financially and in terms of your own spiritual development and willingness to embrace change? Because once you've made that investment in yourself, you're not going to be comfortable until you start changing. I wanted to believe that because I'm a therapist, I didn't need any of the mindset work. And with all due respect to myself, that's not true. That is probably your zone of genius, is your willingness to do the heavy lifting and modeling to all of us around how mindset is an ongoing muscle memory. And we're never done, because we're never not changing and we're never not ascending and growing. What I see clearly now is it's a braid. It's the mindset work and the spiritual work combined with the belief in the importance and the value and the integrity of the work that you're doing. And then the third part is just keeping it moving forward, right? Progress, not perfection. Throw it out there. You know, the spaghetti on the wall, I'm creating. It's far from perfect, but I'm creating, and people really respond to that. That would be the last thing I would say. Yeah, you need to do it because people need us. People need entrepreneurs and people willing to lead the way. We need way leaders. Like, hold my hand. There's a lot of suffering out there that goes unnoticed because it happens in rooms or bathrooms or pillow, there's a lot of suffering out there. We need each other. We really do. We need one another. It's not a solo gig. We need one another. And the synergy of the group is really very beautiful, very wonderful. And so much deep caring and deep attunement to the group. Very, very good.
Kirsten, thank you so much. I've really, really enjoyed spending this time with you. Yeah.
Thank you for making the time and bringing the presence.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Okay.